Divines doubly bless you, friend. The undead. I pitied them at first. Many among them were once kind and innocent civilians of Saysil after all. No longer do I feel that way, though. Too many of my soldiers have fallen. The dead must be put down without mercy, if we can. The bravest among my men and women tell me they are weaker in the west and stronger in the east, so I suggest you head westward if you want to flex your muscles and test the waters before blindly diving to your death. I shall be very glad to share what information I can give you. By all means. There's a church to the northeast of here, built atop the very place where once stood a temple dedicated to the source. The Sicilians razed it, and built a church for the Seven instead, supposedly to symbolize the victory of the gods over evil sorcery. All superstitious mumbo-jumbo, if you ask me. But when the dead rose, that is when they were first spotted. Hence the expedition.
Legionnaire, at your service. Your word is my command, Source Hunter. Go show those undead who's boss.
Did you hear that?
It's just the wind, Blossius. Cool your boots.
Since when does the wind sound the same as a stray dog hungry for bones? My bones!
Oh, for the love of Grognar.
Who are you? Stay back! This haunted yard is terrifying enough without you scaring the marrow out of me. To answer your question, my partner and I were part of an ill-fated cohort of legionnaires sent by Lieutenant Selenia to inspect this church. I suspect the eerie goings-on at that very church for why Livia and I are trapped in our bones instead of prancing about the Hall of Echoes right now. And I do mean trapped. Oh, what I'd give to see my... Oh! What was that? Phew. Thought I heard a zombie. As I was saying, oh, what I'd give to see my darling wife, Marissa, once more. You'll run into the entrance if you keep along this road, though I wouldn't recommend it if you value keeping your skin attached to your face. The place is teeming with necromancers and the ghastly creatures they've been resurrecting. Lava, hellfire, a bone shrine, and that's only in the courtyard behind us. I'm afraid our troop never made it past the horror that lurks there.
Tread lightly, will ya? Any sudden movement is liable to give Blossius there a heart attack. Or, you know, a rib attack. Well, who we are now is certainly different from who we used to be. We were elite soldiers, Blossius and I. 2 troops in a regiment of Selenia's finest guards. We agreed to inspect this church. Selenia had an inkling the undead outbreak might have started here, and while we never completed our mission, I'm certain she was right. Near the bridge just beyond us, an undead monstrosity has made its own hellscape around a shrine of bones used for gods know what terrible purpose. Perhaps to control each of the ghouls that haunt these lands. Same as what happened to us. Partly, anyhow. We were lost trying to gain ground against the Molten Devil King presiding over the courtyard behind us. One of our soldiers ingeniously applied a piece of equipment to the ground, clearing a temporary path through the lava. Her plan seemed to work and we made progress into the Hellbeast's arena, but soon we were too far in with no way out. I've never felt heat like that before, Source Hunter. I've never felt fire in and through my skin, my sinews, and then we were all of us little more than bones. But it was only Blossius and I whose souls awoke in our skeletons once more. The rest remain where they collapsed. The Legion's best skilled fighters, burnt bones beneath a broken turnip cart.
Salutations, Source Hunter. They must come from somewhere, from some vile source. I could make a feeble pun about your hunting for said source, but no, the undead are no laughing matter. All I can ask is that you don't give up on us. We need you. I shall be very glad to share what information I can give you. By all means. For 2 years, all news has been bad news, and clearly nothing has changed. More dead, more undead, and more letters to write home to grieving widows and widowers. Still, I thank you for telling me, Source Hunter. Knowledge is better than uncertainty.
softest step disturbs no terrain. It's a mirage. Fire! Look out! I see a trap nearby. Bless the Seven! I am restored! Taking it hold! Our enemies have laid a trap. Careful, I've spotted a trap. Careful, I've spotted a trap. Look out! I see a trap nearby. Nothing but rubbish.
A stitch in time, eh, my friends?
I feel better already!
First aid!
I needed that.
Onslaught from afar!
Your grave opens to welcome you. No glory in this death.
Of your death is at hand!
What insult is this? A heartbeat do I detect? Revolting! Life! Here! In the court where once sat Brackus Rex! His long dormant pulse alone may alight this crumbled hall anew. How contemptuous you are to venture among the risen, to behold my lady's bare bones with brazen contumely. The blessed resurrector, he promised me no mortal would dare defy us, and yet you are here, despite the damned and the dead. The mighty Diedrich am I, ear-time Knight Commander in the army of the King. Now a sovereign I am too, the Baron of Bones and feudal lord of the undead. It is to me they owe their allegiance, for I have restored them all to life that is not life. Your presence here has startled me, but in the end it matters not. The city of the living will fall, the walls will crumble, the houses shall be tombs, and I, the great and powerful Diedrich, loyal vassal of Brackus Rex still, will rule the dominion of the dead. His name I do not know, only his intent to raise the long-defeated Brackus. He rose me from the dead, my blessed resurrector, so that the powers that rest in me, the power of a guardian of the king, would permeate the land. All have they risen, the guardians of Brackus. I, his knight commander, and his horrors too. The ghoul that guards the lighthouse, and the twins by fire joined. We welcomed him, the animator of our bones, for his intent is glorious. We welcomed him because we owe him. You I don't owe anything but to stop your accursed heartbeat. Brackus Rex he is to you, insolent filth. He was the one through whose veins coursed sorcery more thickly than did blood. And it shall course again, this time, forever. Deep beneath the earth he lies, but soon the very clouds will stoop to his will, and the very heavens he shall command. Hail to the king, all hail! Indeed you shall not, defiler of bare-boned empresses. My hallowed revitalizer shall raise Brackus Rex and thereby restore sorcery to the land. My own legions grow with the cessation of every heartbeat and the stirring of bloodless flesh and bone. Accept my command, the command of the Baron of Bones, and you shall be a general in my army. Resist, as I know you will, and your skulls will look on through eyeless sockets as the rest of your skeletal remains will be employed to amuse my undead dogs. My vassals, the Baron of Bones demands your fealty.
For Rivellon! I run, they fall. I like this game.
my lady. How pitiable are the living.
I shall lick the tears from their dying eyes, my lord. No force in this world can stop you, my lord.
I
Not
long
even
but to make you
Rex.
proud, my love, my lady. How weak they are, my lady. How pitiable are the living.
I await the flesh of this swine, my lord. Raw shall I consume it.
His sword came down, and down went the dragon. Hey, hey, hey. His sword comes down, and down you'll go. Ho, ho, ho.
As good as a new penny. Into the fray once more.
Face the unending darkness.
Don't fret, my lady. All must bow before the Baron.
I
This
shall
one here
lick the
forms
tears
no
from
exception.
their dying eyes, my
The
lord.
Baron will have your heads, oh tweedle tweedle dum, and on a spike you'll put them, oh tweedle tweedle dee.
Who's laughing now? Back on my feet again.
revenge your lord with a hey and a ho and a
But
hey
it is of
nonny
no
no.
real matter, vile intruder you. Brackus Rex will raise him again!
I needed that. Snare of the scoundrel. I needed that.
Submit to my chilly embrace.
A nice commander he used to be. Fa la la la. Come on, riff-raff, are you? Fa la dee dee.
A fine stroke of luck.
Crushing embrace.
Do-re, revenge us her parting grey do, hooray! Slay them, Baron, slay them dead, hey, nonny, nonny, then kiss your lady and make merry, hey, honey, honey. Whoa, whoa, whoa! In hell I'll meet you, foe, foe, foe!
I feel better already.
There's a frightful lack of carrots round these parts. But I suppose the pickings are better than those in frosty Hyberheim.
I prefer to drown my sorrows with ale. I'm warm as fresh apple pie. Potent heat. I'm warm as fresh apple pie. Sniper's gaze.
I can infuse you with power! Potent heat! I could do with a cold drink.
Now I can endure anything.
My kingdom for a dry shirt!
I feel like I've just had a long bath in a cold lake.
What a deluge! Feeling hot under the collar!
Potent heat. Warm as dragon's breath.
Potent heat.
It's heating up. potent heat.
Baking like a cake.
Baking like a cake.
I'm warm as fresh apple pie.
Weapons, shields, heads, hearts. Head of harm. May I be valiant as the Lion of Summer.
Does anybody else smell smoke?
Opens to welcome you!
Die, vermin!
Motion.
Your death is at hand!
Feeling hot under the collar? Rapid fire!
I'm warm as fresh apple pie.
I'm overheating here. Warm as dragon's breath.
Once my arrow tastes blood, it craves more!
I could do with a cold drink. I'm overheating here.
I'm overheating here.
Feeling hot under the collar.
Feeling hot under the collar.
I could do with a cold drink.
Warm as dragon's breath.
Let us make them pay, friends. Stance of the stalwart. Potent heat!
It's heating up.
I could do with a cold drink.
What a deluge.
I'm drenched! My kingdom for a dry shirt! Potent heat! Gods forgive this transgression.
And hit! And hit! Seven have mercy on your soul! I'm overheating here.
Did someone leave an oven door open?
It's heating up.
Did someone leave an oven door open?
Did someone leave an oven door open?
I am truly fortunate. Someone leave an oven door open?
Rusted bones.
Gods forgive this transgression.
I need to dry off. Quick reflexes! Pierce deeper! Die, vermin!
You must suffer. You must burn clean.
Seven crush you like an ant!
It's heating up. Ethereal souls!
Of the eagle, talons of the hawk! could do with a cold drink. Seven have mercy on your soul!
Warm as dragon's breath!
I'm overheating here! It's heating up.
It's heating up.
It never rains, but it pours, eh? Of the eagle, talons of the hawk!
In the rain, nobody can see you cry.
Warm as dragon's breath! I'm overheating here!
Warm as dragon's breath.
Potent heat! Did someone leave an oven door open?
Baking like a cake.
Potent heat!
I could do with a cold drink.
I could do...
I could do with a cold drink.
Let us make them pay, friends.
Power stance!
gale.
Gods weep upon the earth.
Feeling hot under the collar.
Baking like a cake. Water rain down.
My kingdom for a dry shirt! I'm overheating here.
I'm warm as fresh apple pie.
It's heating up.
I'm overheating here.
Did someone leave an oven door open?
Toasty. Toasty.
Soaked to the skin!
Warm as dragon's breath.
I prefer to drown my sorrows with ale.
Aha! I have company, I see. And it's such a delightfully opportune moment, too. I'm just about to conduct a small experiment, and if you have an interest in magic and science, you'll oblige me by taking part in it, will you not? I've laced this area with more than a few pernicious little friends who are simply bursting with the anticipation of supper. But they simply abhor uncooked meat, so you may find they'll want to char you before ripping out your throats. Now, your job is to put up a mite of resistance against your inevitable death. Sounds good, yes? Right then. On your mark, get set, go.
A fine stroke of luck.
Cheery spot we've found in this graveyard, as rife with the signs of necromancy as corpses are with worms. Though perhaps necramatacy is a more fitting, if rather contrived word for what we've witnessed here. To the grave they are drawn, and into the grave they creep, the maggot musterers that plague Saysil with their petty witchcraft. None of them grasp that necromancy, true necromancy, is the pursuit of life everlasting. That its end goal is to play chess with death and topple his king. Necromancy as we know it is an art practiced by base-born dilettantes. That is the real tragedy we are confronted with. Ha! One has been spared, and one has been blinded by the swords of ignorance, like so very many have before you. One of you perceives, and one of you decries the ambition, pure and true, that drove the patriarchs of necromancy. Decries it simply because its purity has been veiled of late in the common horrors of the coffin. Still, I never expected to find much lucidity of mind within the confines of mere huntsmen's skulls. The lucidity that seems to permeate in one of your number, nonetheless, for now I'll regard as a happy little anomaly. Daemon Daemonium, I'll find you yet. And undoubtedly I have answers. Because once I beheld the salivating jaws of death bite and gnaw in eager anticipation of my inevitable consumption. As you know, a sickness pushed me ever closer towards their reach. I shall not say more than that I found a cure of sorts. Yet, like all things, the cure is temporal. So believe me, Hunter, when I say that if you'd have stood so very near the moors of decay as I have, you too would be sorely tempted by the ancient promise of necromancy. I told you to forget! By bugger's claws, I told you! But no, I'll not be baited into pointless bickering. Your inquiry does me a discourtesy, even if that was not your intent. Let me therefore reiterate my most pressing request not to dwell on this matter. Should in due time our confidentiality grow, or circumstances demand the revelation of matters I'd otherwise keep concealed, I shall then confide in you. As it stands, due time has not yet come to pass. More prey awaits.
Go on then, Ed. Speak your piece.
Go on then, Ed. Speak your piece.
I need to dry off.
blessed talisman protect me!
Gods forgive this transgression.
Strange indeed.
This arrow seeks more than one target.
Go on then, Ed. Speak your piece.
Go on then, Ed. Speak your piece. There's something to it, isn't there?
You won't be able to resist.
Work with me here.
Meet your demise!
I run, they fall. I like this game.
don't have a leg to stand on. Sweet relief!
I sing the body electric.
The Seven call me home. The time of your death is at hand! Into the fray once more.
I need to dry off.
Soaked to the skin! This day, we fight! This day, we win!
Go on then, Eb. Speak a piece.
Go on then.
Strange. Strange indeed.
Strange indeed. Go on then, Eb. Speak your piece.
Go on then, Eb.
Go on then, Eb.
Speak a piece.
Speak your piece.
Come to listen to Ebenezer expound upon the virtues of fine wine and free love? They don't elucidate, but they certainly do entertain. I'm but a drowned sailor, like there have been so very, very many. For some reason, he insists he doesn't want to go to the Hall of Echoes, to the afterlife. He claims we weren't cursed, but blessed to roam Rivellon forever. Most of us feel sorry for the poor fellow. Some say all sinners and saints alike are welcome in the hall, but I've also heard that the especially sinful are cast somewhere far worse.
Go on then, Eb. Speak your piece.
Come to listen to Ebenezer expound upon the virtues of fine wine and free love. They don't elucidate, but they certainly do entertain. I am but a restless ghost longing for eternal ease. A virtuous life I led, and I long to go to the Hall of Echoes. For some reason, he insists he doesn't want to go to the Hall of Echoes, to the afterlife. He claims we weren't cursed, but blessed to roam Rivellon forever. Most of us feel sorry for the poor fellow. Yes, the realm of the dead. If not for this curse, we'd have been there for more than a decade by now.
My mother would scold me well and good for standing here and listening to old Ebenezer deriding the gods. But what else is a ghost to do all day? He's one of us after all.
Strange indeed.
Oh, if only I could sail the sea again. The sea and the thrill of life. For some reason, he insists he doesn't want to go to the Hall of Echoes, to the afterlife. He claims we weren't cursed, but blessed to roam Rivellon forever. Most of us feel sorry for the poor fellow.
Go on then, Eb.
When we arrive, it'll be to the open arms of all our deceased friends and family. Can't think of a grander event myself.
There's something to it, isn't there?
What a character that Ebenezer is! Preaches more passionately than a priest. Only he speaks against the heavens rather than for them. Quite curious, but I've grown fond of him and his eccentricities. I'm but a drowned sailor, like there have been so very, very many. For some reason he insists he doesn't want to go to the Hall of Echoes, to the afterlife. He claims we weren't cursed, but blessed to roam Rivellon forever. Most of us feel sorry for the poor fella.
Something to it, isn't there?
Where the dead go to live a proper afterlife. A much more welcoming environ than this dingy cemetery, I'm sure.
A mortal! Aha! Well, surely I don't have to tell you how much better a life, or death, here in Rivellon is compared to a dreadful eternity in the Hall of Echoes. Beats me. We're hardly the only Sicilians lost at sea, but there's some strange magic afoot of late. The dead can't seem to stay that way. We were all aboard a ship, headed from Arata to fair Saysil. But upon our return, the lighthouse failed to shine its light. We were lost upon the rocks and flung far and wide upon the tempestuous waves. The name's Ebenezer. Pleased to make your acquaintance. You've probably been meeting some sad souls around here, but I sure as hell ain't one of them. In life, my interests were soft leathers, southern vintages, sun-ripened afternoons, and ample-fleshed companions. Each sense was a source of new and familiar pleasures, and I luxuriated in them all. Go on. As a ghost, I admit that many of those pleasures evade me, but Rivellon still smacks of life more than the Hall of Echoes could. Though half the fun of fun is sharing your exploits with an eager ear, you know? Oh, what I'd give to find my little buddy again. The best listener I ever had the pleasure of regaling.
Something to it, isn't there?
The final resting place for those deemed worthy of paradise. Paradise after life? Ha! Look around. Paradise is opening your eyes. Or in my case, gazing through the ectoplasm and seeing the wide, wild world around you. Can you imagine anything worse than being stuffed up into oblivion with the rest of the dead? Ah, give me tragedy, chaos, beauty, and delight. My companions would do well to stop pining and start enjoying, no? The ship that sunk and turned us all into phantoms? She was home to a sweet old tomcat, Oscar by name, who'd curl up cozy as can be on my pillow. We shared many stormy nights while I scratched his little chin and whispered stories of my youthful exploits. But I reckon cats don't stay on as ghosts after they pass, 'cause the little furball is nowhere to be seen. That, or the lucky bastard managed to survive the wreck. He was a scrappy old fellow after all.
Strange.
Not in the mood for cheese. That excuse is more home than a slice of
Is not love a wonderful thing, my friend? The greatest fortune of animals and humans alike? Oscar, you say? I haven't been called Oscar in ages. Boy, does that bring back memories. It's the name the ship's cook gave me when I was but a kitten. I remember him rewarding me with bacon every time I caught another rat. And I remember listening to a fellow called Ebenezer, who used to tell me the wildest stories. A strange bird, that one. Used to indulge in every pleasure of life like there was no tomorrow. Guess there was no tomorrow for him, come to think of it. He would talk everyone's ears off about the delights of fine dining, his fascination with new fashions, about the elation of lovemaking, and so on and so forth. To me, though, never suspecting his revelations would be stored in my mind, he'd whisper of the shadow sides of his indulgent character. Fine dining, yes, on human flesh even. New fashions, sure, even if they meant the annihilation of a species for its hides. Lovemaking, indeed. But sometimes the girls were very young and suffered delicate tortures. Some died in his special chambers, but would still be used. A strange bird, as I'm sure you'll agree. If he were a bit smaller, I might have caught him like I would a sparrow and rid the world of his hidden evils.
Strange indeed.
Strange indeed.
That's it, kiddo. Explore as much as you can while you've got that youthful vim and vigor about you. Life is a wonderful thing.
Indeed.
There's something to it, isn't there?
How could you? Those are lies. It was the ultimate pleasure. Oh, how could I hang back if there were even rarer, even more exquisite elations to pursue? How could I let any morsel of satisfaction go untasted in this brief mortal coil? Surely now you understand why I could never submit myself to the judgment awaiting me at the gates of the Hall of Echoes. No. I prefer to remain here for an eternity with a few of my senses, a few of my more delectable memories, than risk being cast into hell.
I certainly won't stop him from spending an eternity in this cemetery, if he wishes. Atonement should only be offered to the truly regretful.
This monster shouldn't be afforded the luxury of escaping judgment. He granted no luxury to his victims, after all.
Regardless of where Ebenezer spends eternity, he'll have to spend it with the knowledge of his own misdeeds. Forcing him to go to the Hall of Echoes won't change that.
Who knows what kind of mischief this sadistic soul could get into here in Rivellon? Best to send him to the afterlife, where he can cause no more harm.
Speak your piece.
No, we'll do as I say.
Ah, you must be, like me, a fully fledged friend to experience. Ha! Leave paradise to those who lived safe and small, who never risked tipping the great scales out of their favor. To life!
If the devil ever needs an advocate, he need look no further than Ebenezer and his frightful speeches.
If the devil ever needs an advocate, he need look no further than Ebenezer and his frightful speeches.
Oh, don't pity me. This is the best fate old Ebenezer could imagine. I'd vastly prefer an eternity here with my faculties and my memories to the possibility of being cast into hell.
Strange. Strange indeed.
Born under a lucky star!
Strange. Strange indeed.
We'll have none of that, you hear? You there, cut it out!
Maim them all!
I'd trade my gauntlets for a hot drink!
This is the end! For you! The arrow sings under my touch! Its song, annihilation!
Take no prisoners!
Death is its own deliverance!
Here lies Montgomery, cat person. Here lies Tom B. Stone. He hated puns until his dying day. Here lies Allegory the Witch. We made an example out of her. Here lies Old Shifty. He knew, I tell you. Here lies Elzakir, the last living Owlman. Here lies Helen. Her eyes could start wars. Here lies Paz Thomas. He lived as a writer, but rests as an author. Here lies Gordon, the world's finest feline.
Weapons! Shields! Heads! Hearts! Wreak havoc! Quick reflexes pierce deeper!
Here lies Wallenzent, defiler of thoughts. Here lies Whitney the fancy atheist, all dressed up and nowhere to go. Here is Isis, a rock in crisis. Marry in haste, repenting at leisure. Here lies Anamatopea. Whoosh, bam, splat, and she was gone. Here lies Thas the Grumble Goblin. Grumble, grumble.
For Rivellon! Hymn of Harm! Strain willpower!
No glory in this death. Here lies Cedoreth. She herself made sure her coffin was secured. Here lies Juan, whose lucky dice finally failed him. Here lies repeating Liam, R.I.P. in peace. Here lies Sayadan, world-renowned fortune teller. Honestly, I had no idea. Here lies Valius the Mute, whose death was unheard of. Here lies Ignifis, finally at peace with a life of terrible, terrible choices. Just awful. Here lies Jorret, a burden on us all. Here lies Sir Oops, whose mother loved him dearly, eventually. Here lies Sinwil, who was allergic to vowels. Here lies Lady Bravey, a forgetful mum who had 2 babies, maybe. Here lies Nosgoroth, scourge of the 5th sea. Here lies Baron von Thornlair, the finest poet in Rivellon. Here lies Lord Walden, who requests that any speaking ill of him box their own ears. Here lies Raskadrixes, born a lowly goblin, died the 72nd mayor of Saysil. Final resting place of Lord Josha Cheapskate Andrimo, who should have paid the stone carver. Here lies Fluffy, gone to the great litter box in the sky. Mummy loves you, Schnookums. Here lies Lady Cordelia Grain, whose hats were nearly too fancy.
Almost certain I saw Ebenezer's old cat in the King Crab Inn, but that's impossible, isn't it?
Here lies Jack the nudist, who got too near a starving goat.
sodden all the way to my boot soles. A stitch in time, eh, my friends? Into the fray once more.
Here lies Madame Fawcett, dog person.
On the mend!
Here lies Joe, Saysile's worst shoemaker. He never knew when something was afoot. Here lies Terry the gravedigger, buried by an amateur.
I need water! Sodden all the way to my boot soles. I needed that. As good as a new penny.
Into the fray once more.
Here lies Eric. He ruined everything. Final resting place of Bree. Insert something cheesy. Here lies Miss Anthrope, who said she'd rather die than socialize and went to live among the wolves.
Ugh, I'm dripping.
I'm drenched! Ah.
Here lies Visar, soul stolen by the Miramac. Fear him.
Is your resolve wavering?
Here lies Cat Jones. Curiosity killed her, after all. Here lies Lady Charon, whose steaming pies tempted all. Here lies Rocco. This is the last hole he filled. Here lies Will Loundy. It's Loundy, not laundry, dang it. Here lies Emmy, Spider Slayer. Here lies Dodson, the finest dancer of them all. Here lies Nazik, who also thinks your name is weird. Here lies Lord Goldman, who lost his head to a literal-minded bridge troll. Here lies Schrodix. We're not actually sure he's dead. Sir Jovel got here with the help of a shovel. Here lies Anne, the finest lady in the lowlands. The tomb of the unknown ambition. Lay your hopes to rest here. Here lies Madame M. Montgomery. Mourn her. Here lies Istrid, knower of noses. Here lies Rocky. Doc, it's only a scratch.
Face the unending darkness.
Here lies Marxism. He was full of great ideas that never worked out.
I'm dripping. Back on your feet, soldier!
Fortune!
You try to enter the church. The statues that flank its heavy oaken doors address you.
Hold your horses, stranger. This holy hall may be entered by those who are loyal to the goddess only. And even eyes of stone can see you are no such creature. Ha! Who are those loyal to the goddess? It asks. They are those who have seen the powers of blood, ignorant one. They partake in the knowledge of old. Blood is life. Blood undoes death. Such is the wisdom you cannot even conceive. It is a wish we cannot grant unless you prove you have knowledge of the goddess. Answer us therefore the following question. How is she known among the loyal, the exalted one, she who speaks for the goddess? We are taken aback by your words, stranger. But we believe you may be right. Go. You may enter the church. Let these loyals find other, less gullible stooges.
Ah, Source Hunter. Have you come to lend your blood to our cause? How much simpler all this would be if only it were so. Still, I cannot blame you for struggling against me. What reason have you to trust me that your efforts are misplaced? But now, with Brackus Rex nearly risen, there's little more you can do to hinder me. Perhaps for the better. When we first met on the beaches of Saysil, I underestimated you. That blunder has cost me dearly. Still, after all, you need not know more than this. The end is coming. The end of sorrow. The end of pain. Those who oppose me oppose peace itself. And here I thought you'd seen it yourself. Tell me, what is the imp historian doing, if not begging you to divert the void? So, you're familiar after all. You know as well as I that the void is coming. In fact, if I'm very precise, it's already here. But you need not be afraid. The void is ourselves. We are destined to rejoin it. I have chosen a dark and dangerous path, but I vow that those sacrificed have not suffered in vain. My only wish for all of Rivellon is the soft hush of silence. Brachus Rex was the forefather of our cause. The original Immaculate. His resurrection brings Rivellon one step closer to the ultimate solution. Dissolution. Wouldn't you like to meet him? The sorcerer your order was formed to destroy. I'm certain he'd love nothing more than to meet you. Follow me. Find out.
My lucky charm! May this divine gift lead us to triumph!
Rapid fire! Precision stance! Quick shot! Born under a lucky star!
Lucky find! The altar won't budge.
There simply has to be some kind of mechanism that operates it.
A hidden switch. Perhaps it has something to do with opening that hatch. A switch much like the first. Could there be more? Three down, but how many to go? What was that? I heard the sound of scraping in the main hall.
Insight of Maxos. I've spotted something.
Wow! Hello there. And who, pray tell, might you be? Oh, let's just say I keep the place in check. Tidy it up. I'm no one important, really. I've learned to appreciate anonymity. And forgive me if I prefer to distance myself from any possible mishaps you adventurers can cause. Quite unpleasant to get involved. Authorities knocking on your door in the middle of the night and so on. Forgive me if I generalise, but some of your lot are as crazy as they come. I once thought you a quaint sort, but over the years I've come to realise that about 1 in 10 is downright dangerous. Lock up behind bars, paint the key blue and toss it into the sea material. Now I can't help but wonder, are you cut from the same batty cloth? Why've you come here after all? What's the point of it all?
The mysterious stranger gives you a long look and, after what feels like a vast eternity, nods.
Okay.
strange magic here. How will we deactivate it?
That cultist must have used some kind of key or spell to get through.
The pedestal is carved with a shallow six-sided indentation. Something fairly small and hexagonal may fit inside.
The seven grant abundance!
The immaculate amulet fits perfectly inside.
Done. Malia. Precious Malia. I'm a fool. Please. You must stop him. Source Hunter. By the health of the seven, you're here. There may yet be hope. Perhaps you remember me as a healer. But gods, what a herald of death I've become. I'm beyond redemption now. But you alone may save Saysil, may save all of Rivellon from the horror I've summoned. King Brackus Rex from the tales of old. He lives. The mad Source King, the Lord of Chaos. I have awakened him. I've done a terrible thing. I've raised a mad king from beyond the grave. I imagined so very foolishly that I'd be able to extract an ancient secret from him. But with a simple flash of his arcane magic, I was finished. I'll tell you all I know, Source Hunter. Resurrected, revived. The king lives, but not as the man he once was. He retains the mark of death upon him, like a festering wound. The last of the mad Source Kings he was, and the tyrant who nearly condemned Rivellon to oblivion. He began the War of Wars, marching brother against friend, until every land and home burned with death. It was during this dark time that your order, the Source Hunters, was formed. Brackus was defeated, and Source outlawed from the land. Brackus was a dangerous monster, but he achieved things no man or mortal could have dreamt of. He alone is said to have known a great secret: how to break a forge of souls. I promised to extract this secret for a woman calling herself the Conduit. In exchange, she vowed to reveal to me a certain power of her own. In hindsight, I see that I dealt with the devil, and I've received my damnation. I was given a great stone, a bloodstone, but more charged with life than any I'd seen before. The Conduit said it would imbue Brackus with life enough to share the secret she craved. But what he has become, his powers have all returned, and I cannot stop him. My failures are so many. I can hide them no longer. In my pursuit of the Source King, I've called forth abominations that neither I nor any other can destroy. The ghoul that guards the lighthouse, the Baron of Bones, the twins by fire joined. Their ghastly faces haunt me, and they in turn have rifled through the graves and sarcophagi of Saysil in search of undead minions. Undead, Source Hunter, unkillable. I fear this plague may never end, no matter how many times the rotten dead are defeated.
curse her name, her hell-sent promises. She claims to be a link between her goddess and the world of men. I never believed her divine claims, but I could not deny her great power. It was she who showed me that bloodstone could be used for more than healing. Her stones, particularly powerful and potent, could raise the dead. What could turn any soft soul towards wickedness? My weakness was love, and it was love that she promised me. The conduit had shown me how to raise skeletons and zombies from their graves. But what I craved was something far more rare. A second life. A true second life for my wife Malia. She was a beautiful soul, snatched from the world of the living far before her time. Now the conduit's promise seemed simple. A secret for a secret. I'd tell her how to break the soul forge, and she'd tell me how to bring Malia back. You can defeat the unholiness I've raised, Source Hunter. You can save the countless innocents that will perish under the Source King's mad fist. I pray... No, I believe you can reverse my failures.
So, Theleron believed that by unleashing these monsters, he'd learn the secret to resurrecting his beloved wife.
Only a true devil would cause such destruction for a bit of fancy necromancy.
A devil? I'd wager many in Theleron's position would do the same. There is no reasoning with a heartsick soul.
There sure is a lot going on behind this door. Someone ought to do something about all that muck on the floor, I say. So many folks in dark robes passing through here. I've always wondered if those fancy yellow necklaces they're always flashing are made of cheese. What am I going to do in this madhouse? I ought to be serving my king in Hunter's Edge.
First the cities and the children shall burn. Sigils of terror and torment will blight the land. First the cities and the children shall burn. Sigils of terror and torment will blight the land. A Oceans of fire will flow, and the earth shall take the guise of hell. Hear now, one who comes to watch the spectacle, to see the sovereign of the source ascend again. Or perhaps you are the first in a long new line, the first that will try to stop my dominion again. Oh, by the emerald eyes of the goddess, would you believe that I can still feel it ever so vaguely? The force of the stab that cleft my heart and sent my soul shivering into death. But my followers have done it. They have done it like I knew they would. Blood, the thick red gravy, the source of souls, has been yielded unto star-sent stones and has swept away the eternal shadows. How long has it been, I wonder, my first repose in death? An hour? The time it takes the seas to tear down cliffs. It is of no matter. I live, and I shall claim my throne anew. A fable I may have become as time dragged on, but a fact I am once more, little one. Don't you, don't all of you miserable mortals realize that they who are one with Source have thrown off the burdensome mantle of death forever? I embraced Source. I drank it, made it part of my blood and my being. And so a warlord became a sorcerer, and a sorcerer became a king. The fools of this world dubbed me a tyrant, for the gods convinced them I was such, fearful as they were of my rise in power. Armies amassed, too many. Scores I slew, too few. Death took me, too soon, but not for all time. Not a thing. There was a woman once that went by that name, until I mangled her body into that of a leaf. Oh, my sister dearest, Cassandra and her man-cat. Mere pets of mine, the both of them, tools to bruise and break as I saw fit. They bled so very beautifully. The reason for my resurrection, O simplest of spirits, is that I was destined to be. Were it not for the vainglorious fools that raised me now, it would have been another, perhaps wiser being that would have done so in time. And time is of no matter, only to be eternally. A woman seeks my secret, for her soul is entwined with another's, yes. Where once they were inseparable, now they have grown apart in purpose and intent. But my secrets are mine to keep. Perhaps when she lies shivering before me, pledging alliance to her king, I will break her forge before I break her. A source hunter. So you are, though you are so much more and do not even know it. No matter, they still smell like you do, by the by, your brother and sister hunters, as they closed in around me that first time. Fear that most sly, most intangible of scents, drowned out soon afterward by the acid stench of urine. I had but to look at them, and they rusted their chainmail where they stood. I undid so manifold they had to wade through the gore of the fallen. Oh, what a feast, what fountains of gravy we had. Alas, that there were too many, as there clearly are too many of you still. Although life renewed has made me rather peckish, and from the looks of you, you need but the slightest of squeezes to make squirt the sauce's sauce from your soft, fleshy shell. Yes, look at you, plump as a leech bulging with freshly sucked blood. Oh, I do believe, as my servants would say as they brought in a squirming, plump girl on a plate, that dinner is served. To me, my baron and my wives, stand by me. Live again!
All the way to my boot soles!
To the fray.
Into the fray once more.
It never rains, but it pours, eh? I bind you in solemn battle oath. In the footsteps of the brawler.
Icy draft.
No foe can stand before me.
I am restored!
I prefer to drown my sorrows with ale.
And that is the final end of Brackus Rex. May his soul remain in the depths of hell for good. I've been hobbled. I need to dry off.
The king is dead. Long live... well, not he. He came close though, Brachus Rex. Close to fulfilling his dream. Dormant he would lie until loyal followers that persisted through centuries would restore him to life afresh. As a ghoul, no more was he reborn, exactly the type of base necromancy I abhor. But now that he is dust at our feet, I can't help but feeling a morsel of pity. The work of ages, the desire beyond death we undid with a simple stroke of the sword. Yes, well, something along those lines. Life, it is such a precious commodity. So precious indeed that death is dealt in droves to merely postpone it, to make it cross the boundaries set by nature. There is much simple irony to be found in these exploits, but at the heart of it lies an equally simple endeavor, which is to overcome the most primal of fears, the dread that prompts philosophy and religion both, and that is the fear of death. To overcome death, if it be possible, is to attain victory over the unconquerable. Such a victory, what a thing of beauty it would be. Still, all this talk about immortality hits the raw and ragged nerve of passing time with relentless momentum. Onward, onward. To be idle is to die.
I've got my eyes on the prize.
Source Hunter, is it safe? Have you done it? Please tell me that you have sent Brachus Rex to the grave once and for all. Magnificent. Oh, truly wondrous. I feel like a prisoner set free, free to bask in the daylight once more. I was so fearful, petrified almost in the knowledge that I might see him again. You see, I knew the Mad King. In fact, I served him. I'm a wizard hunter, and that means I've seen many centuries pass me by. They weren't always happy ones, and you may take that as an understatement. I was once under Brackus's thrall, bound to him by perfidious magic. Life was an endless cycle of servitude, torture, and humiliation. Only after the first source hunters skewered him like the pig he was did my nightmare end. As you can imagine, I was afraid beyond all measure that the fiend would enslave us all once more, that I'd be cast back into the rank pit that was my past. But he hasn't, and he never will. Thank you. I will never forget this act of valor. You have foiled one of Leandra's vile designs, that much is certain. But I highly doubt you forestalled her endgame, whatever that may be. It is therefore imperative that we find her sister Ikara. As you've learned from the accursed duo that was Jake and Evelyn, the White Witch is somehow involved. I will vouch for her gentle nature, but alas, I cannot vouch for her current state of mind. Has she been corrupted by her sister, perhaps? Or have they become enemies locked in a murderous game of cat and mouse? There's no way of knowing until you find her. What I do know is that she lives in a cabin deep in Lakula Forest to the north. If anywhere, that is where I advise your travels should take you next. So you have heard of her? Yes. I knew Cassandra. She was a sweet girl when we met. Hardly a woman yet. The very opposite of her deranged brother, who did not hesitate to butcher her for his own benefit. We were fast friends in those days. Aye, more than friends. Until he took her down to the dungeons and she returned a woman no longer. A twisted lich had she become, with a twisted mind to match her grisly new shape. He remorselessly and relentlessly sought ways to cheat death. Cassandra and he were soul-forged, so he knew that if she would die, he would die. And so he turned her into a lich. Turned her into a creature neither living nor dead, so that he could break the soul forge without destroying himself in the process. Giving the matter no further thought, he rid his sister of her humanity, so as to rid himself of a spell that could threaten him. Such a man was Brackus Rex. Immortal in his mind and immortal to be in effect. As your swords and spells have demonstrated, though, to this world's everlasting contentment, his deranged fancy was not to be. I don't know. When the Source Hunters besieged Brackus's castle, I sought only to escape. I never heard of her again. Yes, I longed for freedom, for release. When I saw my chance, I ran and never looked back. Very well, Hunter. My gratitude is yours, as is my service.
That's it! Brackus Rex is dead! The way he spoke about our forebears was horrific. I wonder how many Source Hunters had to die before the Source King was deposed.
was one, it was too many. My heart shrivels in my chest when I think of the lust in his voice as he recalled his crimes.
A second spent mourning the dead is a second spent not avenging them. We have no time to mourn when there are sorcerers doing evil as we speak.
That looks like a strange mushroom.
I thought this shack would be abandoned, but it seems to be recently used.
And it has its very own foreboding hatch. I can't feel my legs.
So good to see you again, Source Hunter. I shall be very glad to share what information I can give you. By all means. For 2 years, all news has been bad news, and clearly nothing has changed. More dead, more undead, and more letters to write home to grieving widows and widowers. Still, I thank you for telling me, Source Hunter. Knowledge is better than uncertainty. This cannot be. Can it? You have found one of the sources of the undead and sent it back into oblivion. But that is fantastic! Never have I seen such heroism! Hope breaks through after 2 years of absolute darkness. Saysil remains under threat, yes, but finally it has been proven even the dead can be vanquished. To think, Feliron too was behind these horrors all along. A man who treated the wounds I obtained in battle, who comforted me when my agony was great. Such a pity. Saysil is in your debt, Hunter. I, and the Legion too. Brackus Rex is dead, and no one but you could have done this glorious deed.
Those boots would embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining, recruits!
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir! No, sir!
Attention! About face! To the barracks, march! Recruits, that was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!